your autoimmune flare-up this week, it's not because you ate the wrong thing or forgot your supplements. Your body isn't just acting up for no reason. It's speaking a very specific language you were never taught to understand. Most women with autoimmune conditions spend years fighting their symptoms or running away from them. But the ones who heal, they learn to listen. I'm Nancy Ma, physical therapist and autoimmune freedom coach. And after 20 years helping women decode what their bodies are actually saying, I've identified 4 core messages your body sends through symptoms. And once you know them, you can finally stop the cycle. So let's break them down. So the first message your body is telling you is, I don't feel safe. This is the message that your intuition or your body alerts to your nervous system. When your body flares after what looks like nothing, it's usually your nervous system stuck in survival mode. So when I work with clients and they say, well, nothing happened. I just did my usual routine. I ate the usual things. I don't know why this nacho chip would create a flare up when I had the same nacho chip the other day without a problem. That tells me that it's your nervous system sounding an alarm. And your immune system can't tell the difference between a real threat and a nacho. And in a life full of deadlines, notifications, overthinking, and constantly holding everything together, your body is registering all of that as danger. So cortisol rises, therefore inflammation rises, and your system stays on high alert. The flare-up isn't random. It's your body saying, I don't feel safe right now. You must listen to this inner voice. So many women keep running away from that, and they think that a pill, a supplement, a strict diet, or a protocol is going to fix it. It's about time that we start listening to our inner voice. And when the message is very clear, I don't feel safe right now, and you don't listen, guess what happens? It will keep sounding that alarm louder and louder. So when you've been running on adrenaline for months and living off caffeine for years, your body eventually forces you to stop the only way it knows how, by creating symptoms that you can't ignore. Brain fog and migraines, exhaustion so deep that 10 hours of sleep can't fix, pain and aches in your body. Eventually, the symptoms are going to be so loud that you can't ignore them. And this is why rest alone doesn't work. You can sleep 10 hours and still feel exhausted. Your nervous system needs to be retrained that the danger is actually over. So the next message that you must learn to hear from your body is this: you crossed a boundary. When your body says something and you don't listen, you did maybe the opposite of what your body said, or your intuition, or your gut, or your heart. Think about when your flares happen. Maybe it's after a family gathering, or maybe it's after a work meeting, or maybe it's after a tough conversation with your partner, or maybe it's as simple as saying yes to doing something when you meant no. Yeah, sure, I'll drive my kids to all these practices and their friends. It could be that simple. Maybe it's after spending time with that draining friend who is so negative and just takes so much out of you. Your body knows your boundaries even when your mind tries to talk you out of them. Women are just conditioned to be the helper, the easy one, the one who doesn't make things difficult, the one who doesn't rock the boat. So you learned to override your own needs, but your body never forgot. So again, your body is your heart, your gut, even your womb. Your body always sends you message. And if you don't listen and you go against the message, every time you cross that boundary, your system registers it as a threat to your well-being. The joint pain, the gut issues, the exhaustion, they aren't punishments. They're protection. And so remember, if you have an autoimmune diagnosis, or even if you don't and you have chronic inflammation for no reason, a lot of the times it's because you're living out of alignment with your heart or your gut. It's your body saying, you're giving too much. I'm stopping you before you burn out. The women who actually heal don't see their flare-ups as failures. They see them as boundary alerts. So when symptoms spike, ask yourself, what did I just agree to that I didn't really want to? And who around me is draining my energy? Who is depleting me and not filling my cup? And maybe that person is you. And ask yourself, what am I carrying that isn't mine? Maybe you're carrying on to someone else's burden, or your parents' expectations from you, or your kids' expectations from you. Those aren't yours, but you carrying them is burdening your body. Your body knows what's up before your mind does. And I know that so many of us live in our heads. We overthink, we overanalyze, and this leads us to analysis paralysis, and also it stimulates the nervous system to sound the alarm. Okay, let's pause for a moment before I share the other two messages from your body that your autoimmune flare-ups are telling you. So I've noticed something interesting. I get way more video views than I have subscribers. And the reason I bring this up is because it truly helps every time someone subscribes, comments, likes, or shares this video. It tells me that this content is valuable. And it tells me to keep creating more free trainings like this that will help women with chronic inflammation and autoimmune conditions. And honestly, I know not everybody watching will ever have the opportunity to work closely with me, so this is my small way of giving back to the world. So thank you. So please hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. It makes a huge difference, more than you know. I appreciate you so much. Let's get back to the next message that your body or your intuition tells you. You're holding something in. The suppressed emotion message is your fascia, the connective tissue roughing every muscle and organ, tightens like shrink wrap when you suppress your emotions. Anger, you couldn't express. Grief, you didn't have time to feel. Fear, you pushed down because you had to keep functioning. That energy doesn't disappear, it gets stored in your fascia. This is why you can eat perfectly, take all the supplements, do everything right, and still flare. Sometimes the inflammation isn't coming from food, it's coming from unfelt feelings. Your body becomes the container for everything unspoken and undone. And when that container gets too full, it overflows as symptoms. This is also why flare-ups often show up during good times when nothing seems to be wrong, because you finally feel safe enough for those suppressed emotions to bubble up to the surface. Your body waited until you had the capacity to process what you couldn't handle before. So the tight shoulders, the knot in your stomach, the heaviness in your chest, these aren't just physical sensations. They're emotional memories stored in your tissues asking to be felt and released. So I've had many clients who worked themselves to the bone, felt fine, never got sick, and then when they decided to take a vacation, these symptoms conveniently became a nuisance, right? And so why did that happen? Because they kept pushing things down, they kept pushing through the pain, pushing through the fatigue. So their body is a really, really good student and wants you to be happy. So it does the work. And then finally, when you have time to relax and you get sick, that's your body saying, okay, now here's my moment. Here's my moment to express the symptoms. So this is why it is very important to, when you hear this message of overworking and suppressed emotions, that you make the time to feel your emotions, or else they will keep showing up at inconvenient times, stopping you from having the vacation of your dreams. So remember this, you can't think your way out of emotions stored in the body. Thinking is something we do with the mind, feeling is what we do with the body. So the only way to heal from suppressed emotions is, you've got it, feel those emotions. You have to feel in order to heal. And check out my other video that walks you through exactly the 3 proven methods to heal from trauma. So the next message that your body or your intuition says to you is, this isn't your truth. This is a message that tells you that you are not living in alignment with your purpose or your power. Sometimes flare-ups happen because you're living a life full of shoulds instead of desires. I should take this job, or I should stay in this marriage. I should be grateful and stop complaining. Oh yeah, I really should watch what I eat. And every should is a micro abandonment, because who likes to be told what they should do? If you're telling yourself what you should do, your body's not liking your mind. The should is, number one, a judgment. It's a critical judgment. And it assumes that what you're currently doing is wrong. So therefore you should do something else. That tiny moment where you silence yourself to fit into a should or an expectation, your body knows that you're performing instead of being yourself. It knows when you're living someone else's version of your life. It knows when you're inauthentic, and it will keep flaring up until you pay attention and you start living your truth. This is the hardest message because it often means something has to change. And I've definitely lived this, and I've walked clients through this. They think that if they live their truth and their purpose and they do what lights them up, that they're going to hurt people along the way. And that simply isn't true, because if you think about someone you love, maybe a child or a partner or even a parent, would you want them to do what lights them up, or do you want them to just listen to what you say in order to make you happy? And I would imagine that you would want them to do what makes them happy, do what fills their cup, because they're living their own life. They want that for you too. The people who truly love you, they want you to be happy. They might just be living in fear. And so when you live in alignment with your purpose, everybody else around you benefits. The women who heal are the ones who are honest enough to ask themselves this question: am I living my life or the life I think I'm supposed to live? And if I'm living the life I'm supposed to live, who is the one I need permission from? Am I trying to follow the life my parents want for me or society wants for me? Who is it that I'm trying to impress? Because if you sit back and look in the mirror and you ask yourself this honest question, you might be surprised. And this conversation in the mirror will allow you to really check in with yourself and start living a life of alignment. Out of everybody you can trust your body, trust your intuition. It will not let you betray yourself forever. This is why you have symptoms. This is why you have pain, why you have inflammation, why you have brain fog. Your body is stopping you. It is doing its very damnedest to stop you from doing what you're doing. It is stopping you from the path that you're living, because it doesn't lead to the path that is true and authentic for you. I know that might sound harsh, and I'm saying it with so much love, because I have a daughter and I have a mother, and I know the life my mom lived was in complete self-sacrifice for me. And I grew up with so much guilt that my mom didn't live her best life. And I refuse to let my daughter live the same path. And I have a great relationship with my mom, and she is more and more every day stepping into her authenticity. And I see my daughter doesn't have that challenge. She doesn't have to feel guilty that I'm doing everything for her. Meanwhile, I'm sick and unwell. I'm living my best life. I do the things I want to do, not just for me, but for her. And so this is why I know, because I've lived this. I've had the flare-ups, I've had the burnout, and that's what stopped me from going down that path. These autoimmune flare-ups, it's your inner wisdom saying this path isn't aligned with who you really are. And when you start choosing the life that fits you and your needs and your desires, inflammation drops so quickly. It can be instantaneous, because your system finally stops fighting the truth. It stops wasting energy resisting and fighting. So here's what I want you to know in your being: that your body isn't broken because you have autoimmune flare-ups. It isn't betraying you. It has been protecting you, sometimes loudly, this entire time. And when you stop fighting your symptoms and you start listening to them, healing becomes not only possible, but inevitable. So here's the truth. These 4 messages are universal, yet your body's story is unique. And the women who heal the fastest are the ones who learn exactly what their symptoms are saying. And that's why I have created a workshop called Autoimmune Freedom that walks you through exactly step-by-step how to start listening to your intuition. The link is right below in the description, and I hope that you join if this message resonates, because it means that you'll stop running away from your truth and your destiny. I hope this message lands in your body and that it shook you enough to finally do something different, the path that's true to you. So until the next video, you can access that free workshop in the link below, and I'll see you soon.